There's a river so powerful, it pushes fresh water 100 miles into the ocean. A river so massive, early explorers thought it was a sea. And beneath it, a ghost river, hidden 4 kilometers underground, flowing in complete darkness. This is the Amazon, the river that changes its name, changes its color, and sometimes flows backwards. Welcome to the Planetary File. Let me blow your mind with some numbers. Every single second, the Amazon River dumps 29,000 cubic meters of fresh water into the Atlantic Ocean. That's more water than the entire world drinks in a second. 1.5 times more, actually. The next 7 largest rivers on Earth, combined, still don't match the Amazon's output. 20% of all fresh water entering the world's oceans comes from this single river. One river, 20%. When European explorers first encountered the Amazon, they didn't believe it was a river. They thought they'd discovered an inland sea. And honestly, they had good reason. In dry season, the Amazon stretches 10 kilometers wide in places. But during the rainy season, 48 kilometers. That's 30 miles of water from shore to shore. Stand on one bank, look toward the other, and all you'll see is the horizon, just like the ocean. That's why locals call it the River Sea. The Amazon River Basin covers 7 million square kilometers. You could fit 8 Pakistans in there, or 2 Indias, or all of Europe minus Russia with room left over for another Pakistan. And yet, despite being this massive, there's not a single bridge crossing the Amazon River. Not one. The engineering challenge is just too extreme. Here's something they don't teach you in school. Scientists still can't agree which is the world's longest river. Textbooks say the Nile, 6,650 kilometers. The Amazon, 6,400 kilometers. The Nile wins by 250 kilometers. Case closed, right? Not so fast. South American scientists used satellite mapping to trace the Amazon's true source deep in the Andes. And when you count from there, the Amazon measures somewhere between 6,800 to 7,000 kilometers. That would make it longer than the Nile. But some researchers still disagree. The debate rages on. Here's what isn't debatable. By volume, by area, by climate impact, the Amazon is the world's most powerful river. No contest. In the middle, it gets even weirder. As the Amazon flows through dense jungle, it doesn't just change, it becomes something new entirely. High in the Andes, where it's born from melting snow, locals call it the Apurimac River. By the time it reaches Ucayali, it has a different name. Between its source and the sea, this river changes its name 4 times. But in Brazil, the story gets even stranger. Brazilians refuse to call it the Amazon until something very specific happens. Look at this satellite image. On the left, brown muddy water, the Amazon carrying sediment from the Andes. On the right, pitch black water, the Rio Negro, flowing from a different direction. When these 2 rivers meet at Manaus, something incredible happens. Or rather, doesn't happen. The brown water and the black water flow side by side for hundreds of kilometers without mixing, like oil and water. Why? Because they're completely different. Different temperatures, different speeds, different mineral content. The Rio Negro is warmer, slower, and filled with decomposed organic matter that stains it black like tea. The Amazon is colder, faster, and thick with Andean clay. They're incompatible, so they flow together apart for over 100 kilometers before finally merging. Only then do Brazilians call it by its true name, Amazonas. When the Amazon reaches the Atlantic, it does something no other river can. It keeps going. Fresh water from the Amazon pushes 100 miles out into the ocean before finally mixing with salt water. Sailors centuries ago would draw drinking water from the sea while still out of sight of land. The Amazon doesn't just affect the land, it affects the ocean itself. Some researchers believe the Amazon's story begins in Africa. Hundreds of millions of years ago, there was a supercontinent called Gondwana. Africa, South America, India, Australia, all connected. Look at a map today. South America and Africa fit together like puzzle pieces. That's not a coincidence. Back then, the Amazon flowed west from Africa towards the Pacific. But when the continent split and the Andes Mountains rose, the river was trapped, blocked, so it reversed course, carving a new path east towards the Atlantic. The Amazon used to flow the opposite direction. Let that sink in. But here's the wild part. You can still see the Amazon flow backward today. It's called the Pororoca. Twice a year, during spring tides in September and March, a 4-meter wall of ocean water crashes into the Amazon Delta. The Amazon doesn't stand a chance. The ocean wins, and for hours, the Amazon flows upstream. This tidal wave pushes kilometers inland, reversing one of the most powerful rivers on Earth. Surfers from around the world come to ride the Pororoca. They surf the Amazon, riding a single wave for miles inland. It's one of the longest surf rides on the planet. Just when scientists thought they'd uncovered all of the Amazon's secrets, they found something that shouldn't exist. 4 kilometers beneath the Amazon River, there's another river. A ghost river, hidden in darkness, flowing silently through porous rock. In 2011, a team of Brazilian geophysicists announced the discovery. They named it the Hamza River, after their lead researcher, Dr. Hamza. How do you discover a river buried 4 kilometers underground? The team drilled 241 boreholes into the Amazon basin and dropped sensors deep into the earth. Through careful observation, they detected something astonishing. Water moving through underground rock formations. Not just any water, a massive flow of groundwater tracking the Amazon's path like a shadow. The Hamza isn't a river in the traditional sense. It's groundwater seepage moving through porous sediment, but it behaves like a river. It has a source, deep beneath the Andes. It has a mouth, the Atlantic Ocean's depths. And it flows in the same direction as the Amazon above it. Here's where it gets weird. The Hamza is wider than the Amazon, much wider. The Amazon maxes out at 50 kilometers wide. The Hamza, 200 to 400 kilometers across. But it moves at a crawl, just millimeters per second. The Amazon races at meters per second. The Hamza flows at an estimated 3,900 cubic meters per second, about 13% of the Amazon's volume, still massive, but invisible, hidden beneath 4 kilometers of rock. 2 rivers, stacked, one in sunlight, one in eternal darkness. The Amazon rainforest is the world's greatest biodiversity hotspot. More species live here than anywhere else on Earth. But in the past, the Amazon was home to creatures that would terrify modern humans. Meet Titanoboa. 15 meters long, over 1 ton in weight, the largest snake that ever lived. We know it existed because coal miners in Colombia discovered its fossilized spine in 2009. Radiocarbon dating revealed it lived during the age of dinosaurs, 60 million years ago. Today's largest python looks like a worm next to Titanoboa. This monster ate crocodiles and giant turtles whole. Fortunately, it's extinct. But don't relax. The modern Amazon is still a death trap. Poison dart frogs so toxic, touching one can kill you. Electric eels that deliver 650 volts shocks. piranhas with razor teeth that can strip flesh in minutes, spiders whose venom causes excruciating pain and tissue death, the bullet ant, named because its sting feels like being shot. The pain lasts 24 hours. Even sharks swim up the Amazon from the ocean, hunting in fresh water hundreds of miles inland. And then there are the people. The Amazon is so vast, so remote, that isolated tribes still live here with zero contact with the outside world. They live exactly as their ancestors did thousands of years ago. No modern technology, no knowledge of cities or nations, completely isolated. Some may not even know other humans exist beyond their tribe. For centuries, archaeologists believed the Amazon was too harsh for large civilizations. The jungle was impenetrable, cities were impossible. They were wrong. In Bolivia's dense rainforest, scientists using LIDAR, a laser scanning technology, mapped the jungle floor through the canopy. What they found rewrote history. Massive earthen pyramids, ancient cities, engineering that rivals modern design. The Casarabe culture lived here 600 to 1,000 years ago. They were incredibly advanced. They built pyramids 22 meters high, that's 7 stories, out of earth in the middle of the jungle. They dug canals for water management. They constructed perfectly straight roads connecting cities, spanning kilometers through dense forest. Roads so precise they look like they were designed by modern engineers. These weren't primitive villages. These were sophisticated urban centers with tens of thousands of inhabitants. Around 1400 AD, these cities were abandoned. Everyone left or died. Was it disease, climate change, war, famine? Nobody knows. The jungle reclaimed everything. For 600 years, these cities lay hidden beneath trees, unknown to the world. LIDAR revealed them only recently. There could be dozens more lost cities still waiting to be discovered. The Amazon keeps its secrets. A river so powerful it pushes fresh water 100 miles into the ocean. A river so wide no bridge can cross it. A river that flows backwards twice a year. A river with a ghost twin buried 4 kilometers underground. A river that hides lost civilizations beneath its jungle canopy. The Amazon isn't just a river. It's a planet within a planet, a world we're only beginning to understand. This is the Planetary File. If this video amazed you, hit that like button and share it with someone who loves nature's mysteries. Drop a comment telling me what fact blew your mind the most. And subscribe because we're diving into more of Earth's most incredible secrets. I'll see you in the next one.